welcome to SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 news. Now tonight we're going to be talking about who our contenders for the ECW Championship is, and what we're going to be recapping the episode of tonight's episode of episode 2 of ECW, and what is going to be happening in the next episode of ECW live in Lincoln, Nebraska, that's where we're going to be at. Also, to give you some news, May 29th will be Capital Carnage of ECW, and it'll be live in Japan for some reason. I don't know why, but it will be. That'll be very interesting to see Capital Carnage of ECW on the Trace Parks Gaming channel. So right now we're going to be talking about the number one contenders right now for the ECW Championship. Now, last week Edge was our number one contender, but now it's Batista for some reason. Batista is our number one contender for the championship. Edge is the number 2 contender. CM Punk is the number 3 contender, and Bobby Lashley made it to the 4th contender for the title. The other spots is at number 6 we have Johnny Nitro. At number 8 we have Jeff Hardy. Number 9 is Kenny Dykstra. Number 10 is Finlay. Number 11 is Chavo Guerrero. Number 12 is Gregory Helms, and number 13 is Mark Henry. So those are your top, I think, is it 13? Yeah. Our top 13. John Cena is still at the top because he's champion. Why would he not be? So yeah. There's a lot of changes. Kenny Dykstra was number 11 last week, and now he's number 9. He went up 2 after defeating Johnny Nitro on ECW this past episode. And if we're looking at it right now, Bobby Lashley went down 1. He was the number 3 contender, but now he's the number 4 contender. And CM Punk went up 1. He was number 5 last time, which means he was the number 4 contender. Batista went up 1, being the number 1 contender for the title. But Edge, breaking news in the next episode, in a submission match, John Cena will defend his ECW Championship against Edge in a submission match in the main event of episode 3 of ECW, which is May 22nd. Yeah. Anyways, so let's recap all of tonight's episode of ECW. Our first matchup was Johnny Nitro versus Kenny Dykstra, which the winner came out to be Kenny Dykstra, which I thought Johnny Nitro would probably win, but Kenny Dykstra won. So that came to me as a shocker in a way, because I didn't think that was going to happen. Right after that, we had a match between CM Punk and Finlay, which CM Punk got his first victory in ECW by defeating the debut of Finlay. Gregory Helms was his manager for some odd reason, and I have no idea why, but he was. Really weird. Our second matchup, Batista and Jeff Hardy took on Edge and Chavo Guerrero, and Batista and Jeff Hardy won. Batista and Jeff Hardy they faced off each other on the first episode, and Batista won. So it was very interesting to see how that went. The main event of episode 2 of ECW was John Cena defended his title against Bobby Lashley in an ultimate submission match for the second time, and this time it was for the championship. Bobby Lashley lost, John Cena retained his title, and he is still the ECW Heavyweight Champion. Now, speaking of next week on the show, we will be live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we're going to tell you what the card is for ECW Episode 3. So here it is. The debut of both Charles Norton and Steve Grundy will be made next week on ECW, they will face off against each other. Charles Norton will take on Steve Grundy in a one-on-one match to kick off the show of ECW. Our next matchup, CM Punk will take on 3 other men. He will take on the debut of Keith Vega, Kenny Dykstra and Chavo Guerrero. He will take on the team of Keith Vega, Chavo Guerrero, and Kenny Dykstra. Our third matchup, Johnny Nitro will take on Mark Henry in a first blood match, so that should be very interesting. I think he'll probably lose. Johnny Nitro will have a very bad win-loss record. Next up, we have Batista teaming up with Bobby Lashley to take on Gregory Helms and Jeff Hardy. I kind of thought this made no sense because Batista teamed up with Jeff Hardy in this episode, episode 2. So why are they facing each other now is the great question, because I really don't know why they'd be doing that. Anyways, and the main event for ECW Episode 3 live in Lincoln, Nebraska, John Cena defends his ECW Championship against Edge in a submission match. Now, John Cena really must like submission matches because the last 3 matches he's been in were submission matches. And this should be very interesting to see as John Cena puts his title on the line against Edge, and Edge is the number 2 contender, but as of last week he was the number 1 contender for the championship, and Edge might take John Cena's ECW Championship on episode 3 in Lincoln, Nebraska, which will happen on May 22nd of 2015. So everyone look forward to that one because that'll be a very interesting thing to look out for. So yeah, this has been another SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 news. I am Trace Parks, and I will see you in the next news show.